Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, March 26, 2018. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Within a few days or so, the five-star Bookament Bay Resort could have new operators. This from KPMG's Brian Glasgow, who is the trustee of Harlequin Property SVG Limited, the former operators of the resort. At a recent event hosted by First Citizens Investment Services on the Global Economic Outlook, which reviewed the 2018 budget, Glasgow said that the government, together with stakeholders, have met with a number of interested parties to have the resort reopened soon. Shan Gawe tells us more in this report.
The Bookament Bay Resort, located within 9 miles from Barrowley on the leeward side of the island, was managed by David Ames, who has since fled the country, leaving a debt of some $7 million in unpaid taxes and wages to former employees when it closed in December 2016. Trustee Brian Glasgow outlined at the event last Thursday that while the facility operated by David Ames had only 120 available units, villas and condominiums, some 3,000 persons believe that they had some sort of ownership to it. He said provisions are made through the new bankruptcy law to determine which of the investors actually had titles.
There were 120 available. 3,000 believe they have some sort of ownership. The next process, which is actually before the court at the moment, was trying to identify which of these investors actually had title. So far, we have identified between 30 and 40 people who have undeniable title, who have title deeds to a villa or a condominium unit that we could identify and tell them, yes, this one belongs to you. Under the new bankruptcy law in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it also provides for a circumstance in which if somebody had paid substantially for a unit that they believe is identifiable, but had not completed the deal at the time the company went into liquidation, the court allows them some time to complete, pay the money into the estate, and own the property.
Glasgow revealed that many of the unsuspecting UK investors purchased units that did not exist and that there were some 40 properties that were in the process of being paid for. When they were asked to reapply to complete the deal, 500 persons applied. Glasgow, who is a specialist in corporate restructuring, also revealed that properties were built on government and privately owned lands, and that this also makes it complicated for those who believe that they had ownership.
Purchased units that didn't exist. You had, in cases where more than 2 people, in some cases several people, own the same property, and it goes on and on. In addition to that, the company does not own all of the land. A lot of the resort was built on land that is actually owned by the government. What the resort did, the resort reclaimed a lot of beachfront land. Those of you who know Bookament, that area where the restaurant is, where the swimming pool is, that's reclaimed land. And under the law, that reclaimed land belongs to the government. So the company has no jurisdiction over that land. That is government land. If somebody comes and builds something on your land, it's your land. And what's on your land? So that is another problem. And to add further, part of the resort was also built on land belonging to private individuals.
The trustee in the bankruptcy of Harlequin Property SVG Limited said that while the government has been extremely supportive to ensure that the resort reopens, it is not a simple affair. He explained that legal work will take some years to sort out. However, as part of the contractual agreement, actual owners can vacation at the facility for 4 weeks a year at no cost, and they are also assured in excess of 10% returns on their investment annually.
As you would expect, there is no way that you can go through these legal challenges in 1 or 2 years. It's going to take a very long time.
Glasgow said that in addition to the legal complications, there were utility infrastructural deficiencies to be addressed. Glasgow noted that tourism is a major money earner for this country, and the closure of the resort had a significant negative impact on the industry. He, however, said that in an effort to come to a resolution on the matter on short-term basis, operators have been hired to manage the facility, and details would be announced within days.
Now, the resort has a number of problems. There are problems with the electricity installation. There are problems with the water and sewage system. The sewage disposal system needs to be properly repaired and completed before the hotel can be reopened. So all of these matters have to be addressed. So together with the government, together with the other stakeholders, we have met with a number of interested parties, and although I can't answer your question and give you the name at this stage, I think it's sufficient to say that we are literally a few days, hopefully not weeks, but definitely a few days away from being able to make a public announcement on who that party is. But it will be on the basis of operating the resort. There will not be a new owner to the resort at this time.
Sharon Garraway reporting for SVG Television News.
Thank you, Sharon. In other news, SVG's capacity to implement policies to address citizen security received a boost with the signing by government of the Caribbean Secured Projects Guideline Notes today. Shesha Mikami, the Deputy Representative of the United Nations Development Program UNDP for Barbados and the OECS, commended the move by the government of SVG, stating that the Caribbean Secure is a set of tools designed to guide governments in the region on how to improve national level security data management. She said today was the first time that a Prime Minister from the Caribbean endorsed the toolkit. Mikimi expressed confidence that the application of the toolkit will improve citizen security.
A guidance note, task force terms of reference, and a data sharing agreement which will allow this country to develop policies and strategies based on hard, reliable data. By using these tools, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will improve its crime and violence policy making and programming. Task force members, you will have an opportunity to work with CARISECURE team on the next steps, which include the adoption of the International Classification of Crime for statistical purpose, automatization of crime data collection and analysis, and the development of a citizen security policy.
Linda Taglia-Latila, the U.S. ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, who also gave remarks at today's ceremony, noted that crime has serious implications for a productive society and that these challenges require innovative data-driven solutions.
Now we continually strive to improve collaboration across the country amongst federal, state, and local levels of government, but because we know that shared data is the most effective law enforcement tool at our disposal. The Caribbean Citizen Security Toolkit, produced by CARISecure, will enable St. Vincent's and the Grenadines and 9 other countries in the region to develop effective crime prevention strategies and policies based on the data it has provided. Fully understanding the challenges of our young people is essential to timely intervention and prevention of criminal and violent behavior. It is only through a collective effort that crime and violence can be permanently addressed. And the National Task Force, being formally launched today, has a critical role to play in this regard. Over the next 3 days, the CARISecure team will provide the task force with technical support to implement the toolkit.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said that the government has been implementing a targeted strategic approach to addressing crime, which includes the Ban Against Crime program. He expressed gratitude to the U.S. government for its support.
The police told me you're training about 12 young persons in the police band, in music generally, and so we're using music as something to get to young people. Music and culture generally. So there's a whole range of targeted strategic interventions. And we have to make sure that all of what we are doing is coordinated in a specific evidence-based manner and draw the conclusions therefrom for further action. And we find that many of these activities don't cost a great deal of money. It's just a question of having the correct policies. And I want to thank you again for this initiative. And I'd like my dear friend Linda, the ambassador, to also indicate to USAID and to the State Department how grateful we are.
With increased air traffic expected over the Easter weekend, officials at the Argyle International Airport, the AIA, have organized an awareness initiative for travelers. At a press conference held earlier today, CEO of the AIA, Hadley Bourne, said his company saw the need to have the public sensitized as to what is expected of them and what they can expect as regards to security protocols. He noted that the security standards and practices currently in use at the AIA are all in compliance with those recommended by the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. He said once the traveling public is made aware of these procedures, they can all remain safe and comfortable.
With a lot of misinformation that is out there to try to sensitize the public as to what is expected of a traveler. We really don't want to have the same frenzy as last year. Persons not being aware of the do's and the don'ts and what is expected have misconceptions, and then it can cause agitation and aggravation among traveling public. So basically what we said, and as part of our sensitization campaign, especially with the advent of new routes and heading into the North American markets where the FAA and TSA have very strict travel requirements which we must adhere to once we're going to employ those routes.
Giving a brief overview of the ICAO Acts which govern security procedures at the AIA, Chief of Security Keith Miller said that while persons have complained about security measures, these are necessary to ensure the safety of all flights in accordance with the standards of ICAO and the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA.
I've gotten several reports. And I'm happy to report that our investigations so far have shown that these reports are unfounded. What we do at the airport here, it is not just done ad hocly. It is not just done by guests. It is a system. It is well organized. Our regulators, be it local or our regulators from around the region, meaning ECA, and further afield, IQ, will come and do their own audits and inspection to ensure that what they say must be done. We know very recently they have gone through the drills of all the regulators so far. TSA also came in and put them through the rigors because, you know, we were preparing for the northbound flight.
Pointing to why there is need for additional searches on persons in security-restricted areas, Miller said that if necessary, an aviation officer can carry out an arrest on persons who refuse to comply with security procedures.
Always also ask persons to check their own bags to ensure that nothing prohibited is in your bag. So pack your own bags. We know also that persons, they're inclined to travel with alcoholic beverages above the volume level. Once we do our screening at toll baggage and we see that, we will have to investigate. We will have to go in your bags. If we flag your bags, you will be escorted by the airline agent to our search area to have your bags searched in your presence. So feel comfortable about that. We are a professional bunch and want to continue doing things that are very professional. We cannot stray from the norm.
A number of demonstrations were carried out at today's media conference using videos and live demonstrations to show the practices used by the Transportation Security Administration.
She is wearing a skirt. She will be required to wear this position to stand in this position so that anything that may be hidden, you can be able to access it. Again, when she comes back to, if we got on the selected, the area because there was an alarm. Turn around for me, please.
It's a question, but he says no. But he says no. No. To check.
In other news, farmers and agri-processors are among those who can benefit tremendously from a well-regulated citizenship by investment program, the CIP. That's according to Sinclair Leacock, management consultant and opposition MP for Central Kingston, as he spoke on Magic 103.7 Sunday Brunch program on Sunday. Leacock said that the program can bring necessary investments to the agriculture sector and create an opportunity for farmers and agri-processors to partner with international cooperation, thus benefiting both.
So there's just simply too many things that's not happening because we don't have the money to do them.
Yeah.
You just think of what we can take 50 million EC dollars to do, a one-off.
Yes.
And then we can process every mango, pawpaw, soursop, golden apple, guava,
yes,
sugar apple,
yes,
pineapple, anything we could do. We can all have a whole agri-processing industry in St. Vincent to get value added in all that we have. And we don't have to do it just by figuring that we could do it alone, you know.
Yes, sir.
We take what Cork is saying, it's a global village. We understand the importance of brand management, and we take the investment, and we partner with something like Del Monte, some major international corporation, and we make sure that every farmer can be happy.
Examining other areas such as the offshore banking sector, Leacock said that the Citizenship by Investment Program, CIP, will allow for a more equitable flow of cash in the economy. He noted that how a country grows is just as important as its overall growth.
Yes.
Which means they have to have more money in their pocket, one, and they have to have more people who can do that. So you have to have employment, and therefore the Citizenship by Investment programs has allowed big spending in the construction sector, which generally speaking contributes around 11% to our GDP.
Yes, sir.
Because you have to build this plant, that infrastructure, the other infrastructure. That's what's enabling.
Yes.
And it allows for a more equitable spread of the bread. You see, in the offshore financial services, I may be challenging that, more of the money stays at the high end in accounting and financial services, legal services, and administrative services and so forth. But in the Citizenship by Investments program, you have a wider spread of the bread.
Yes.
That is possible because a lot of it goes into infrastructure and into small projects and social development and so on and so forth. And that is also important as to know how, not just that a country grows, you know, but how a country is growing is also important. And
Responding to criticisms leveled against the CIP program, Leacock said there are several professional entities which can help with due diligence procedures and that SVG can also learn from its CARICOM and OECS neighbors.
People have their reputation at stake in these matters too, you know. I mean, it's serious law firms helping to drive some of these programs. Very, very serious law firms, you know, with the best of the best lawyers and accountants, because they had it at stake when they go and sell these programs and help to set them up in particular jurisdictions. They don't want to see these things blow up in their face. So they also can point you to where you could get your due diligence machinery, and to draw on the rich lessons and experience of others and the pitfalls, and to make each new product better than the one that went before. I wouldn't bore the program today, but if you look at what's happening in the Caribbean, you would see that although we speak about St. Kitts, Grenada, St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Lucia, each of them also have a feature that the others don't have, and then each try to borrow from something, from a different experience.
The High Court here is expected to make a ruling on June 12, 2018 in the award of damages to be paid to Otto Sam in his unfair dismissal case against the state. Sam's lead attorney, Jomo Thomas, said in the first case, Sam was awarded $30,000, but now they are seeking $100,000 in damages. Thomas, who spoke with SVG-TV News last Thursday after a hearing on the matter, explained that as of last Thursday, his legal team had 14 days to make their submissions on Sam's case of unfair dismissal. And once that is done, the government's legal team will also be granted 14 days to file and serve their response to the submissions. The lawyer for the dismissed teacher said that they have a positive view of the outcome of the case and that their client will be vindicated. Thomas said he is pleased to be associated with the case as it tells him that the law is alive and well and that the court is there to prevent government overreach or high-handedness. Thomas said that Sam has suffered tremendous loss, having fallen behind on his mortgage payments as well as the life and medical insurances, among other things. He expressed the view that it seems that the state is trying to financially assassinate Sam. The decommissioned E.T. Joshua Airport tarmac was on Saturday evening transformed into a venue of youth excellence and expression as secondary school students met to showcase their talents with the staging of the first ever National Secondary School Band Showcase, held under the theme "Giving a Modern Approach to Music Education." The event was a collective effort of the SVG Teachers Cooperative Credit Union, the Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture, and the Ministry of Education. We hear more in this report from Nikita Tony.
2, 3, festival is declared open. Wave those wavers, wave those wavers.
Using the tagline "Come and be inspired," the National Secondary School Band Showcase is being hailed a success after it left patients pleading for an encore of all 11 performances. K. Martin Jack, president of the title sponsors SVG Teachers Cooperative Credit Union, SVG-TCCU, said the band showcase will go a long way in advancing music education at the secondary school level. She was also pleased with the outcome of the event.
The school band project is yet another way of caring and sharing by showing our commitment to our young people and nation building. The best musicians in the world are masters of discipline, which is why they are so successful on their instrument. As a nation, we need to develop a level of self-discipline that will be indicative of our maturity.
In his remarks, Minister of Culture Cecil Sesmaki praised the efforts of students, instructors, parents, schools and sponsors in ensuring that the event took place. He said it can play a significant role in boosting the future staging of live music.
Expect that by next year, we will double those numbers. This is going to ensure that we are going to improve on the musicians that are now available to the churches and the communities, that we improve on the pool that is available to these entities. But more importantly, that we will improve on the quality of music and musicians that are produced here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have the musicians, we have the artists that are available and talented to sell to the world.
Here's a look at some highlights from Saturday's showcase.
When they say fat and a gal and a fat will have fun, but you know that they call it again. Shelling up your hand, they say nothing new.
Although the showcase was not a competition, all 11 bands were charged with preparing an original jingle, which, if selected, would be used by the Teachers Credit Union in its marketing campaign. The most disciplined band will also receive the Leonard Clavely Anderson Trophy. Those awards will be announced at a later date. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
In other news, Carlos Oliver, a Vincentian who resided in Antigua, became the second homicide victim in that country for 2018. According to media reports, the lifeless body of the 51-year-old farmer and businessman was discovered in a shed on his farm along Jonas Road, Antigua, early Thursday evening. Oliver, originally from Lacroix in St. Vincent, migrated to Antigua close to 30 years ago. ABS television reported that the discovery of Oliver's body was made about 9 p.m. after relatives became concerned that he had not returned home since leaving for the farm about 6 o'clock Thursday morning. Reports are that in addition to farming, Oliver operated a produce stand at the side of the road adjacent to his farm. He was observed vending earlier in the day, as was customary. Oliver is the brother of former general manager of NBC Radio, Carlita Oliver. His other relatives include his wife, Jessica, also a Vincentian, and 2 children who also reside in Antigua. ABS News said no motive has so far been established for the killing, and the police are asking anyone with information about this murder to contact the Criminal Investigations Department in Antigua. And the police here are investigating the shooting death of an Old Montrose man. Akeem Bush, Dr. Weed, Cambridge, was shot in the wee hours of Sunday morning at his home in the Block 2000 area. According to police reports, Cambridge was shot twice in the forehead at approximately 5 a.m. on Sunday, March 25th. He was taken to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he later died. Cambridge is the 7th homicide for the year. Police are encouraging anyone with information that would assist in the investigation to contact the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department, the CID, and the Major Crimes Unit at telephone number 1784-4561810. That's 1784-4561810. Vincentian Kemal Wendell Market, a 23-year-old of Union Vale, Beckway, was arrested and charged in Barbados last Friday, March 23rd, with 8 drug offenses. These offenses were allegedly committed on Thursday, March 22nd at the Shallow Draught Bridgetown Port, St. Michael, Barbados. The charges are possession of cannabis, trafficking in cannabis, possession with intent to supply cannabis, importation of cannabis, possession of cocaine, trafficking in cocaine, possession with intent to supply cocaine, and importation of cocaine. According to the Barbados Nation online site, Market arrived in Barbados around 6:15 a.m. Friday on board the vessel Melinda II, which was docked at the Shallow Draught. Personnel from the Barbados Drug Squad, Customs and Coast Guard searched the vessel and found 2 packages, one containing suspected cannabis and the other suspected cocaine. Market was subsequently arrested. The cocaine placed at 0.97 kilograms has an estimated street value of $48,500 Barbados dollars, while the suspected 1.35 kilograms of cannabis carries an estimated street value of $5,400 Barbados dollars.